Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Elay83 playing in the Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank. It is the T10, and as you might see, Elay is inside RSOP, so a big show me Manitou, Torilla Tavitan to all of the Finns out there. I absolutely love meeting my Finnish community at events like Tankfest. Few of you do come over for that, and especially Gamescom, I guess for some reason a little bit nearer home or something like that, or at least the Finns that are competing in the competitions at Gamescom. Hilarious individuals, life of the party. I'm sure that some of you who are in international communities, if you have a few crazy Finns in them, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I digress. Let's focus on the tank, the T10. And this is probably one of the most played vehicles in the game. Lots of people decide to go towards that IS-7, and of course the first Tier 9 that you have to play a lot of games in, you realise, to be able to work for that first Tier 10. And the T10, for me, it's a vehicle that I didn't really ever have to play at Tier 9 very much. Back in the day, the IS-4 was the Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank which led on into the IS-7. I know it was crazy overpowered back then when it was at Tier 9. Made the jump up to Tier 10, hasn't really, and nothing has happened to it since. And the IS-8 was put into the tech tree to lead on towards the IS-7. And not really too much has changed with regards to the IS-8 over the years. Apart from its designation, it was given a slightly better gun, and also it was, I think its dispersion values, especially on the gun, were improved, but specifically as well the side armor was increased. Wargaming gave it not too much frontal armor. This is a very weakly armored heavy tank, or at least compared to a lot of the Tier 9 heavies going into the game. But the strength of this vehicle is fantastic speed, and as we can see, Elay has managed to rush into position on the southwest of this flank, and he's there before the heavies are in position, and so he's able to get some sneaky shots through. Now he's very concerned about the tank destroyers that are sitting in that D45 area, especially where the UDES is, well, exactly where the UDES is, so he doesn't want to get caught out in the open. You're going to see from this that Elay is a very skilled player who knows about his positions. He's also going to be showing off some good marksmanship. Maybe that'll be happening later on as he takes a swing and a miss towards the T20. He's going to be finding a shot here. Will he connect against the Tier 7 American medium tank? Yes, he does. Oh, that T20 looks like he crashed into a bit of a rock there in the center. Now, he's playing on Swamp, and do you know what's funny about this map at the moment is that, especially towards the high-tier games, and this is more of a mid-tier game because Elay's a top-tier tank, one of the only 3 top-tier tanks inside this template system. But usually what happens on Swamp towards the high tiers is that the enemy team will try to rush across over here and then make it into this dip on the map. And then when that happens, they're basically going to work this corner. They're safe unless the south team takes the north, but nobody is doing that anymore. I made the mistake on the live stream on Sunday to try and push the north in one of my Tier 10 light tanks, hoping that if we took the north, and I even asked the team to come with me, that then they can get easy shots at all the tanks that amalgamated here, but that just wasn't the case. All that happened is I ended up going up towards that northeast and dying, so I thoroughly recommend that you don't do the same. You know me, I'm the kind of player who likes to try and go against the meta. I like to try and do different things and to encourage the team to attack aggressively, and I'm always going to be at the front doing so. But I just don't think that you can change the meta on Swamp now. It seems to be so fixed that the northern team rushes the center and also takes the northeast, while the southern team goes and camps across in the southwest corner. Now, I'm not trying to say that what Elay has done is not adventurous, and it's not the right thing to do. It certainly was in this scenario. Look, he's picked up 3,200 damage. He hasn't lost a single hit point, and he's done that in the first 4 minutes of the game. That's a great result. And he might be about to pick up his second kill here. In fact, he is. There you go. 2 tanks secured. And can you blame him for using that position? And it's just his team that have gone off and died so quickly, probably exposing themselves too much or rushing into open locations and getting shot from multiple areas of the map. And that's really the problem here. So I think that Elay made the right decision by using the speed of the tank to take the southwest, then locking down that flank, stopping the enemies from advancing up. You know, he's probably one of the only ones who have done significant damage at the heavies that were advancing along. But now he's going to be using the mobility of the T10 to rush back. So the T10 recently in 922 was moved down, and it's kind of leading to nowhere. If you haven't already, uncheck your accelerated crew training in the T10, because it is going to lead on into a new tier 10 heavy that I think it might be the Object 777, but that's completely unconfirmed. It's just currently on Tanks GG, and usually Wargaming are trying to test things like that. So Ile loads a high explosive round there to put one into the side of the WTF Panzer IV, I guess because he decides that he wants to try and make the most of all of his ammunition, because this tank doesn't really carry all that much ammunition when we look at it. In fact, its potential damage is just over 13,000. That can be quite awkward when you're already at 4,000 damage and you've still got a third of the enemy team to take down, and a lot of those are the top tier vehicles that are very healthy indeed. So, now the Object 257 has been put in the game. Does that mean the T10 is irrelevant? Well, that's definitely not the case. The T10 has the better aim time, the better accuracy, the better rate of fire, massively better turret traverse dispersion. The T10 feels more like the medium heavy, whereas the 257, with its amazingly angled side armor, feels like this monster, this troll monster that can just get itself into position and sometimes even reverse side scrape out to be able to weather the storm to then connect its 122mm. Whereas the T10 it gets obliterated by the T30 in the side there. But then again, when you think about it, the T30 would have overmatched the Object 257's nerfed 45mm of side armor. At one point on the test, I believe it was massively thicker, able to bounce even those large caliber guns. Now you're going to have a 150mm caliber gun if you want to overmatch the side, and so definitely don't be a sucker and don't shoot the side of the 257 if that's the case. But yeah, the T10, look, I wouldn't say that a little bit of its specialness, a little bit of how good the tank was has been taken away because the 257 has come in. But that doesn't mean that this tank is irrelevant, not by a long shot. So Ile is making this tier 7 heavy wish that he could grow up just a little bit faster to be just like him. That poor IS, unable to do any damage to Ile apart from the 20 damage that he did with a little bit of a ram. And so with the final remaining member of Ile's team leaving him for the garage, or at least leaving him to maybe cheer him on in this game, he is now finding himself in a 1 versus 5 situation with a good old slab of hit points. Usually in these kind of scenarios, somebody might be a little bit more weakened. He's got 1,135 hit points to work with, so that means that he can take a shot from everything, and multiple shots from the Moistion, the UDES, the Pershing, and, you know, the T10's armor should be able to take a few hits from the Oho's most likely derp gun. So how is Ile going to handle this? Well, he seems to want to try and catch the UDES. I guess he's expecting that the UDES is going to be making his way across over here, and he wants to take out that tier 8 Swedish tank destroyer with that wonderful penetration. Is he going to penetrate the Super Pershing? He doesn't. That tank is a bit of a pain to aim at, especially at these kind of mid-ranges to try and hit the weak points on top. It's hard to know whether you should just try and go straight for the turret or aim down on the hull or try and hit the weak point on top. They go right into the weak point, 422 damage. And I like what Ile has created himself here. He's got a little defensive location where he's limiting the amount of enemies that will be able to come in him at one time. And look at this T30. This T30 is so greedy to get the kill, he pushes the Super Pershing out the way, the Super Pershing penetrates Ile, and the T30 is being a complete and utter greedy arsehole right now. And looks like the Super Pershing has had... Did the Super Pershing have enough of how greedy that T30 was and just decide to kill him for maybe trying to take his kill? Wow, okay, well this just changed now. So Ile doesn't have to take out the T30 after bouncing the round off the front of his turret. The Super Pershing doing the work for him, I guess very annoyed at the fact that the T30 had got in his way to try and take the kill. And now Ile loads a heat round that goes right through the cheeks of the Moistion. And his 1 versus 5 has now been changed into a 1 versus 1 because the UDES on the enemy team managed to roll his tank as he went down the slope, as we can see there. What a donkey! And so now Ile must be feeling confident as the Oho fails to hit him, and he can take a hit from that high explosive round. It would have to be a miracle to penetrate this vehicle. And with 2 shells left on the game, is he going to fire one into the dirt to load for the fade-ins? No, he's not. Safe choice. That would have made you look like an absolute muppet if you had tried to fire a heat one into the dirt and then try and get that sneaky fade-ins medal at the end. I've seen a few replays where it has happened, where somebody's tried to waste a shell, especially against a bot player, and then get an exceptionally low roll to mess up what should have been an easy win. But Elay is disciplined enough to not pad out for that Fadence medal, and he secures a real nice carry. I just loved the drama at the end here. The fact that that T30 barged the Super Pershing out the way, and it looks like the Super Pershing had had enough of his shenanigans and put him down. What a ridiculous moment, and it truly looks like the greed was real in this game. So Elay nails an ace tanker here for 1,655 base experience points. Very impressive for a tier 9. A Kolobanov's medal for standing alone against at least 5 opponents. A Radley Walters medal for his 8 kills. And you know, I think he might have probably been able to get a Pools medal if the Udez hadn't managed to destroy himself and the Super Pershing betrayed his own team. Elay also gets a high caliber for over 8,000 damage dealt. That's very impressive for a tier 9 tank. And irrelevant of the heat rounds makes a cool 30,000 credits profit. So Elay, congratulations to you. I just wanted to feature this replay because of that ridiculous shenanigans at the end of the game. And thanks for uploading your replay on the What Replays website for the community to enjoy. I certainly did, and hopefully all of you out there enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments if you have had a situation occur to you like this, where somebody either on the enemy team or your own team had just had enough of somebody who was clearly being a little bit cheeky. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.